Hey there guys, I'm Nash, reporting here for Blitz Radio. I'm here this afternoon in the White House with Andrew Mada. Adam, how are you this afternoon?
I'm fantastic.
That's fantastic. Well, Adam, I realise your name is actually a palindrome. Is there a story behind that?
There is. How long did it take you to discover that?
To be honest, I'd been reading your name for about a week in preparation for this interview, and then it dawned on me as I was sitting here writing my question. Hang on.
So, look, like any good entertainer, I've got a stage name. So my parents are not that cruel. Andrew Mada is obviously, Mada's Adam backwards, it's a palindrome. There's a nice synchronicity to it. The whole thing is totally conceited. Basically, back in the day, many years ago, I thought, look, I need a stage name. What am I going to call myself? And I put the call out to friends and family and sort of canvassed a whole bunch of names. And this process took about 6 months, long time. Creating an identity is very hard.
Maybe that's why people steal them so often.
Well, absolutely. It is so hard to create an identity. Yeah. And then some crazy mate of mine sent through like a joke email saying, "Oh, why don't you just reverse your name, Andrew Mada?" I thought, that's stupid, mate. And didn't think about it any further. Then a week later, it kind of just grew on me. It kept in my head, and I thought, I'm going to give it a go. Then I had a logo made, and it worked really nicely with the logo, with the kind of the mirrored effect. And then I kind of just kept it, and basically I'm stuck with it. I can't get out of it now. It's who I'm stuck with, and like you, and like some people sort of get it straight away. Well, I've worked with people for many years, and they've called me up and sort of asked me, "Who are you?" I've just realised your name is not your name, and I'm like, "Well, no shit."
Well, that's really interesting. That's really interesting.
So for me as a magician, it kind of works because it's almost like a kick a trick. So it's not outrageous enough that people can think it's your real name, but with a little bit more thought, it kind of keeps in their brain. They're going to remember it. Clients will remember it. Oh, it's the guy with the palindrome. So it's all marketing and that sort of thing. And it kind of brings a smile to my face when people, years later go, "Oh, you know what?"
That's really interesting. Well, it sort of speaks to, I think, a skeptical sensibility that many magicians have. Would you say that's a fair thing to say?
Absolutely.
So lots of magicians, a good example would be Penn and Teller, where they show bullshit, are skeptics themselves. I'm just curious, what are you skeptical about?
So there's a big, I'm very happy to hear you say that, there's a big misconception. A lot of people think that magicians think they are real. So, which is not the case at all. Magic, and anyone performing magic as a magician on stage, very, very much wants you to appreciate that the magic doesn't come from some higher being or some superficial power. It comes from the artist. It comes from our skill. And that's one of the great frustrations being a magician, is that it's like a watch face where you see the hands ticking around the watch face, but you can't see any of the craftsmanship and the genius that's gone into the cogs and the gears and the mechanism itself. All of our craft is hidden behind closed doors, and we can only celebrate that with other magicians, really. Otherwise, we kind of ruin the magic.
The inner circle.
The inner circle, yeah. Which is also bullshit. But yeah, most magicians are skeptics, and they'll come to it two different ways. So I was never a skeptic when I started. Now I'm a skeptic. Sometimes you'll have skeptical people that are interested in how things work and they want to discover how they work, and then they find their way to magic. Myself as a young man, I always wanted to find out how things worked. I was fascinated, how does a microphone work? How does the watch work? How do these things work? And then, of course, I loved magic as a young boy. I believed a lot of hype when I was young. I believed a lot of things which weren't true, such as naturopathy and palm reading and clairvoyancy and firewalking and pretty much everything. I got sucked into it, and in fact, as I was growing up, my parents went through a divorce, and my mum went to a lot of the sort of spiritual, evangelical I call them sort of snake oil salesmen. It was very common for charismatic American evangelists to come to Australia and prey on vulnerable people and sell them bullshit and make them feel good. I got caught up into a lot of that. So anyway, this is when I was about 14, 15. I'd go to school and high school and I'd peddle the same wares to my friends and end up getting bullied over it, such as, take your watches off when you've got an exam. The mechanism's going to affect your magnetic alignment. I got into firewalking, did a lot of firewalking and thought, this is amazing, it's power of the mind. Boom, 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 boom. Later, through magic, I discovered, once learning all these tricks, that the same people hoodwinking my mum were just selling magicians' secrets. They were tricks, all of it. It was all tricks. And after I discovered how it worked, it gave me, it was a large period of disillusionment for me. So I went through a transition period and realised, well, for that period of my life, everything I thought was real was not real. And that was my path to becoming a skeptic, and I'm an absolute skeptic. Not a cynic, and sometimes people confuse the two.
What's the difference between the two then, just to clear up any confusion?
Skepticism is about critical thinking, and if you're a skeptic, you're not going to take something for face value. You may appreciate it, but you want to understand and you want to ask questions. You want to know the whole story. Whereas a cynic is just a miserable prick.
Well, none of us here are miserable pricks. We're asking all the right questions, I think. So that's a really interesting path you've taken from being, I guess, for lack of a better word, hoodwinked, to then having been enlightened, to then actually entertaining and amazing people the world over. So I think even with this idea of snake oil salesman, magic, whether it's a cultural practice or an entertainment thing, it's probably one of the oldest parts of human history and culture. So what do you think keeps drawing people towards magic? What keeps bringing audiences back?
Wonder. It simply comes down to wonder and curiosity. Magic, out of all the performing arts, you've got two sides. So if I come off stage, you get a huge buzz. You're performing to a crowd, you've created something, they're applauding, it's entertainment at the end of the day. Yeah. You've got that side of things. Then you've got the magic side of things, the craft of actual magic. Essentially, you've done something impossible that the audience doesn't know how you've done, and it's your job as a magician to withhold that information so they can appreciate the magic, the impossibility. There's a great saying and a quote which I actually opened my show with, which is, a magician may be the only honest professional left because he promises to deceive you and then he comes out and deceives you.
That's quite poetic, I think. I like that. I really like that. Interesting. So so curiosity and wonder. What piques your curiosity and what makes you wonder?
Look, everything does. I obsess over how everything works. To me, there's so much wonder in the world, and I love to search for it. One of the downsides of being a magician is that wonder pool gets smaller. It gets very, very small, and obviously you know how a lot of stuff works, and a lot of tricks and secrets and illusions and all the kind of bollocks that goes within the spiritualism arts and the health industry and homeopathy and all that sort of stuff. You start to discover how all that actually works and how it's being sold to the public. So it is harder. The longer you're a magician and in the world of magic, the harder it is to kind of find that wonder. And one thing I never want to be is, some older magicians do become cynics because they've lost their sense of wonder. And I love going to a show by a colleague or a friend or some well-known magician, and I love that feeling of enchantment and being fooled. And I love sort of suppressing my inner magician and going, you know what, I need to remind myself what it's like to not know how that amazing trick worked. And I think that's really important to keep that alive, because if I'm selling wonder to my audiences, I need to remember what it actually feels like.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, at the end of the day, no one's smarter than the audience in that, you have to understand what it is that they want. I mean, that's really cool. I've really enjoyed this chat so far, Adam. Would you mind if we did a little trick?
Well, time has always fascinated me, and I love doing magic with people and their objects. And magic is always in the eye of the beholder. It always happens in your mind. So you've got a watch on there. Do you want to?
I do have a watch. Yeah.
Take it off for me.
Okay. Sure.
Yep. Take it off. Give it to me when you're ready.
All right. Cool. All right. So taking my watch off. All right. Here we go. There you are.
Wonderful. Perfect. So, what's the time?
The time is 25 to 4.
25 to 4. Now, do you normally wear a watch?
I do.
Okay. Can you hold out your left hand, the hand that you had the watch on, for me? Wonderful. What we're going to do, make sure I don't touch any buttons on the watch at all. I'm going to place it in your hand. Close your hand around the watch. Turn it around. Perfect. I want you to look at me, and out aloud, I want you to name a number between 10 and 20. 13. Now, we're going to use both hands on the watch. Yeah, you can do that if you want. Okay. I was referring to both hands on the watch, but that's that's fine. Put both hands on. Sure. And we're going to do another number between 10 and 20. Out loud. 17. So we've got 13 and 17. What's the exact midpoint between those numbers?
13, 17, 14. 15.
Is it 15? 15.
I do not disagree.
Okay, beautiful.
15.
I want you to move the hands on that watch backwards in time. Exact. What number did you say? 15. Exactly 15 minutes backwards in time. It's like we never did this interview. Time is in your hands. It was 25 to 4. 15 back. Whenever you're ready. I don't even want to touch that watch. 15 minutes back.
Oh, what? Oh my God.
15 back. Unbelievable. That was all him.
I don't know what to say. That's. I actually felt something moving in my hand. It was.
I'm all about in my shows empowering other people to become magical.
Oh, I definitely feel the magic right now. Okay, thank you for that. Great. It means I can. I need you when I'm about to submit an assignment, and I've only got 10 minutes left. And that extra 15 minutes would be tremendous. Do you have any other tricks you'd like to share with us this afternoon?
Yeah. Look, let's celebrate right here, right now. Let's celebrate time in general. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write down a prediction. So you can't see what I'm going to write down here. Okay. I'm just going to write down. Should I look away? Yeah, you should look away. I'm just going to write down a little prediction. Dun, 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 dun. All right, I'm going to place this down on top of your phone, right there. So what we're going to do is I'm going to just got an iPhone here. Yep. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get you to yell out some numbers, and I want these numbers to mean something to you. So it could be how many coffees you've had today, could be 15, could be how many brothers and sisters you've got, could be how many drinks you're going to have tonight. It just needs to celebrate right here, right now. Okay. Yep. Sure. So what we're going to do, basically, is I'm just thinking how we're gonna roll with this. Yeah. Okay. All right. What I'm going to do, I'm going to keep track of these numbers. Actually, not a notepad. What we'll do is we're just going to use a calculator. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to give the calculator to you.
Sure.
Okay. So, what I'm going to do is name a two-digit number out loud.
18.
18. Type 18. Okay. Give me another 2-digit number.
90.
90. Okay. Press times and then 90. Times 90. So what we're going to do is we're going to just multiply all of these numbers up. We're just going to get a big mix. Give us another number. Give us a 3-digit number.
124.
124 times 124. Okay, I want you to turn the phone to you and times it by a secret number that none of us are going to know. Just a secret number, 2 or 3-digit numbers. None of us can know this number. The camera, not even me. Press times in the number for me. Don't do a tricky one like 0 or 1 because really that's going to do nothing. Okay, done? No, just press equals. All right, you can show us. Let's have a look. Is that a big number?
It's a pretty big number.
12,416,342. 12,416,342. So your numbers, you've put all the numbers in. Everything's cool. Can you imagine if that number, 12,416,342, is written down on this piece of paper? My prediction.
Can I believe that it happened?
Do you want to see that right now?
I would love to see that.
It's going to happen. We need a bit of a drum roll, and then you're going to turn over the prediction. Boom! Real magic doesn't actually exist. Give us a break. Impossible, mate. 12,416,342. You know what's really weird, though? Come in close. Check this out. Remember, your numbers, you punch them in.
I do.
This is going to keep you thinking for a while.
Okay.
It is the 12th of April 2016.
Oh, it is.
Today, Tuesday. Right here, right now, it is 3:42 p.m. Right here, right now. Boom.
Wow. You know, one of the few times in my life I'm truly speechless. Adam, you've definitely blown my mind. Thank you so much for joining us here today at the White House. I look forward to seeing whatever else you want to. I can't string words together. Thank you. Thanks.